Hello, everyone. It is what it is. Welcome to the NLFA today. Sorry, everybody just got here. I'm your host, Freddie Reyes, along with my co-host, Nick Macarenas. Welcome, Nick.
Thank you, Freddie. Are you ready to go tonight?
I'm getting there. I'm ready. The draft is on. Let's go. Let's do it.
Shit, yeah.
And welcome my other. I thought you were gonna say something. Welcome my other co-host, Justin Herrera. Welcome, Justin.
Yeah, man, let's talk some football. Let's get it going because the draft's going on and the NLFA is almost in the playoffs, so it is a spicy time to be in that league.
Nah, it sure is. Now, this was a huge week for week 6 for the NLFA. So, as the season's coming to an end, as you say, the players are starting soon. There was it was shaping up to be a big game. Now, the Rattlers and the Lumberjacks played each other, and first and foremost, let's talk about what happened during the game. So let's go to the breakdown. So as you know, last week we had a long conversation with the Lumberjacks coach, Leandre Williams, and as he said, there was no way he was going to waste a week. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we got you.
Well, is it safe to say that there's snake bit here, Andrew?
Hello, can you hear me?
That's a good one right there. I'd say.
Yes, we can hear you. Hi.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm having some technical difficulties. So we had a long talk with Leandre Williams, the Lumberjacks coach. He said there was no way he was going to overlook the Rattlers. So I guess he really didn't. So I'm having some technical difficulties. I am so sorry. He surely stuck to his word with a 22-0 shellacking of the Rattlers. Now, the Rattlers definitely need to regroup next season. I mean, they definitely needed some help. We were watching the game film. And the Lumberjacks stood the course and did exactly what they said. I mean, it was. I watched the game. It was a heck of a game. The Rattlers held strong for a little while, but they were just overpowered by the Lumberjack. Nick, did you see the game? What do you think about the game?
You know what? I did watch the game, and man, number one, Derek Banks, he lived up to his number. He was the best player on the field. I think he is the best player in the league. I don't know if they have an MVP award, but he's gonna get my vote right now today. So he's a true quarterback back there, man. I'm telling you, I explained before. I compared him to a Lamar Jackson, Mike Vick type. He takes the ball, he takes ownership of the offense, and he runs through it. He runs through the defense. Great leader.
Justin, did you watch the game? You have any comment?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I watched the game, and, for the first half, it was kind of like back and forth turnovers. They actually exchanged a lot of punts. The Rattlers, there's a lot of little fundamental issues with them. I mean, overall, they're a very hardworking team and a very solid unit. They did have a little bit of an injury problem going into it. MacArthur and White, their second running back, were having injuries right off the get-go. And then it came down to, them having to sub in their second running back, White, and a wide receiver at the end of the game for linemen. So everybody was getting on them about not being able to pass protect and having all these holding calls. Well, shit, man, if you're a lineman going up against a wide receiver, that wide receiver is going to hold all day long. Are you kidding me? At some point, you got to give some leeway because you got String Bing over here going against, the big brown bear. And, of course, the bear is going to maul you. So when I looked at it, I said, what, the Rattlers, held them to a 0-0 game going into the half. That's when the Lumberjacks picked up. Like Nick said, Derek Banks Jr., he is a hell of a player. He can run the RPO beautifully. And his biggest talent is getting people to bite on the goal line. There was one, I think it was the last one he had, the last touchdown. He got somebody to bite. He got the DN to bite so hard that he had an open lane straight to a touchdown on the 22-point score. And so I'm looking at it. I'm like, Derek Banks, he's the real deal. He's the one that sets the Lumberjacks over, but also their defense. Their defense brings a ton of pressure. They're never out of position in the secondary. They know how to. They're the complete team right now. You look at the Bombers, they're like a heavy offensive team. You look at the Roughnecks, they're a really good defensive team. But right now, the Lumberjacks, after talking with Coach Williams last week, when we heard that they were actually down players the first 2 weeks, I'm like thinking to myself, okay, this is a team that could have been undefeated going into this, because when you lose 2 games, 2 close games, and you were down players, like completely understandable. Then they come out and they just start, going to town on these teams, and they just didn't. This was, like you said, this was a week where they could have let up. And like Coach Williams said, he wasn't going to let that happen, and they didn't, and they piled it on in the second half, and they really took it to the town on the Rattlers. So, overall, I thought it was a good showing for both teams. I just think the Lumberjacks kind of overwhelmed them at the end, and injuries, obviously, for the Rattlers became a thing to be worried about. And with all these teams, I mean, you're playing, I think it's 9-man football. So, you got to have the backup players when your guys go down, especially your important guys. And, sometimes when your important guys go down and you don't have the players, you just it kind of drags on to being a bad game for you. So for the Rattlers, a good showing, and for the Lumberjacks, really good showing. They're making a really strong push for that playoff appearance and that championship run.
Yeah, I watched the game, and I was really impressed with the way the offensive line held up for the Lumberjacks. I mean, the first about 20 minutes of the game, there was one touchdown thrown by number one, the Lumberjacks. It was a beautifully thrown play to the left side of the end zone. But it was the line that really impressed me. I mean, he had all the time in the world. I mean, they were able to run the ball, start with the RPO, and then they were able to pass. It was a beautifully put game plan, Coach Williams. Like I said, great game plan. Get to sticking to your guns. But the Rattlers did lose 22-0. So you know what time it is? It's time for the SWAT of the week. It's what it is. The wood splitting, ass kicking, Rattlers stomping Lumberjacks have done it again. I'm starting to feel real sorry for these Rattlers. To lose 22-0. You should be ashamed of yourself. We have to do better. Please don't do this again. I'm done. I'm tired of it. Don't want to swat the Rattlers no more. Oh man, I felt kind of bad looking at that one. but listen, like I was gonna say, don't feel defeated, Rattlers. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to build up a good team. Stick with it. Don't give up. I mean, it was you guys held for the first few minutes of the game. Nick, before I go on, do you have any more comments?
No, we covered it all. Like I said, it's kind of hard to comment on a team that doesn't score any points. I'm being honest. They got to pass protect better. That's the number one problem. I don't care, as I said many times before, I don't care what offense you run. I don't care what skill players you got. If you simply cannot block, you're going to have a long day at the office. And it's just more the same from the Rattlers. So hopefully they can regroup, maybe reel off the next 2 wins and at least go respectable 2-5.
Well, yeah. I mean, and big props to the Lumberjacks because they shut down the one thing that the Rattlers had going for them, like Joe MacArthur. Joe MacArthur is the guy for the Rattlers. He's the running back. He is their safety / linebacker that forces fumbles. And, he got injured and he was playing with an injury, but overall they shut down the run game. And that was the one thing that, kept the Rattlers in a lot of games was that run game, and they couldn't get anything going. So it was big props to that nose tackle up the middle, man. He is a run stopper. And then they got the guys on the outside to really contain the running game. So, more props to the Lumberjacks. They were the superior team in this one.
Yeah, I don't want to keep harping on how the Lumberjacks they are a really good team. Like I said, they started 0-2, reeled off 4 in a row. They may be looking to be the team to beat. But we are going to talk about another game in a little bit. But first, we have a special guest coming on the show. Owner and coach of the Bombers, Coach Witherspoon. He'll be on right after our commercial break.
Hayden, we love fantasy football. We do? It's a fantastic game, yet still not perfect. Like, I hate leaving high-scoring players on my bench.
The worst, man.
In fact, hate it even more when I put injured players and they're in my starting lineup.
Can't have that.
And I need a life. The waivers, the trades, every single week, it grinds on me. So we at Underdog Fantasy want to make fantasy football easier for everyone out there. It's called Best Ball, and we set your optimal lineup for you each and every week. You can do it all year long. We have drafts going all the way from February to week 1 of the NFL season. What are you waiting for? Use our awesome early sign-up offer to get a little extra something on that first deposit and that first time you play on Underdog Fantasy.
You put them up, reach the skies, touch the stars up above, cause it's one time for the underdog, one time for the underdog.
I love that commercial. Welcome, Coach Witherspoon. How are you today?
Man, I'm a little bit tired, but I'm here.
Look, we definitely appreciate you coming on the show. You are the head coach of the first place 4-1 Bombers and creator of this wonderful league. Thank you for the show. I got a lot of questions to ask you. Let me go first. And talk and let my co-host go first. Justin, you have something for Coach Witherspoon?
Oh yeah. First off, I want to just say, I think everyone's going to say, congratulations on starting this league, and it's successful, and you're giving these guys another venue to continue their dreams out of high school, and I'm sure a lot of these guys are going into their 20s and just having something to look forward to on Saturdays or Sundays, whenever you guys boot up. But first off, I want to ask you, Coach, coming off that last game against the Lumberjacks, how are you going into this one? They're kind of they're steamrolling a lot of the competition now. They just got past the Roughnecks. They just, steamrolled, like we just said, the Rattlers. How are you looking forward to this upcoming matchup with them? This is going to be, I believe, the third matchup in your is that right? Is that the third matchup between you guys, the Bombers and the Lumberjacks? You took one and they took one?
I think the next game is the Roughnecks.
Roughnecks. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So how are you working for the Roughnecks?
Well, right now, as any coach would do, we take every game at a time. So with the Roughnecks, we're looking to go ahead and it's kind of like some payback right now. There's a lot of pressure built up, if you would. These guys can't wait to get back on the field. We've been off the field for 2 weeks, as you know. The Rattlers forfeited a couple of weeks ago. We didn't get the chance to hit the field. So these guys are anxious to get back on the field. We've been practicing nonstop for 2 weeks straight. So these guys are ready to tear into some Roughnecks. And the preparation has been endless on my part because, there are some times when it's only just me at the practice. Sometimes all my coaching staff will be there, but I'm kind of like Nick Saban in a sense, man. I just drill. We drill plays in their head, fundamentals. Minimal mistakes. We had to correct that game against the Lumberjacks that we lost. There was a lot of mental errors, and we had to work and correct those.
Yeah, that's what is that 2 weeks without a game now? So you guys are now coming in 2 weeks without a game. Like that's got to be a little bit on the difficult side, keeping your boys focused. Have you seen any regression as far as people's mindsets, or is everybody just kind of refueled and wanting to get back at it after that loss?
Well, they're ready to go, as I stated earlier, because we were battling through some injuries. I don't know if you guys noticed, but our starting center, he's out for the season. So that's another factor that contributed to that loss because we didn't have our big center there. And then we just lost one of our defensive backs to a knee injury as well as one of our safeties. So we've got some guys, everybody's kind of been struggling with injuries this season. It just looks like we're a more complete team because we had a pretty deep roster. But now that we're down about 5 to 6 guys, we're asking some of our newer players to step up and fulfill roles that they're kind of, they're playing out of position for one of them.
Right.
So yeah, man, we're just thankful that we're able to complete the season and get a season done. And like I said, these guys they're ready to rock and roll. They're ready to bomb something right now.
Can't wait, Coach.
So Coach, I mean, a good football team. I'm pretty, you got, like you said, you guys got a pretty good football team. You're going to go with the next man up theory. I know this game is huge. Right now, you're in first place, 4-1. The Lumberjacks are right behind you at 4-2. You're playing the second place Roughnecks. Well, considering the third place Roughnecks with 3-2. I'm pretty sure you don't want to end in a 3-way tie. So I'm pretty sure you and your boys going to come out prepared to take it to the Roughnecks. Now, obviously, we don't want your game plan to be told out here right now in front of everybody. But what are you gonna do? I mean, what are you gonna do a little bit different offensively? Okay, I know you was hurt. The center was out, which really hurts a running game when your big center is out. So without giving away your home game plan, how are you gonna revert? Are you gonna swing to the outside more a little bit, or maybe throw the ball, or just try to do a little mixture of both?
Well, we're gonna try to mix it up. We're gonna try to whatever the defense gives us, we're gonna try to take advantage of it. That's one thing that we didn't do against the Lumberjacks. We were just kind of flying blind. It's almost playing darts blindfolded. We're just throwing stuff out there. We're trying to get back to that chemistry we had week 1 to where we played more situational football. Whatever the defense gives us, the offense is going to try to take advantage. Same thing on offense. Once we start kind of getting a feel for what they're bringing on offense, we're going to adjust on defense and, try to counter whatever they throw at us.
Perfect. Nick, you got a question for the coach?
I do. So, Coach Witherspoon, can you tell us a little bit about your background and then what motivated you to start the league, and then from where you see it is now, how do you think or what is your vision to bring it into the future and beyond?
Okay, the league started as an idea to actually help another league. So my last 2 years in the Air Force, prior to my retirement, I started putting together a whole lot of, started doing a lot of research, and I started seeing there were some semi-pro teams and some other semi-pro leagues in the area. So what I did, I reached out to some of the local ones and said, hey, I noticed that there wasn't any type of presence for your team. So I came with an idea to say, to try to help them with more visibility and things of that nature. Well, they were kind of stuck, on what they were doing, which I understand. I mean, they've been around for 10 plus years. So yeah, a new guy just shows up with an idea and saying, hey, I can fix your problems. Yeah, I get it. So around that same time, the Alliance of American Football started. And I was gravitated to, to the Alliance of American Football. Upon me retiring, I attended a lot of their games. I actually wanted to intern for the Birmingham Iron, but, I was a daily officer. But it never stopped me from, openly communicating with some of their staff and just getting ideas and whatnot. So upon the AAF shutting down, I said, you know what? They had a good thing going. How can I take what they were doing and apply it to a smaller level? So that's when I came up with the North Louisiana Football Alliance. Now, in between that, I was saying, okay, well, what's going to make my league different? What's going to make the NLFA different from any other semi-pro league around the area? I said, okay, I did some more researching. So I found up in Minnesota, Wisconsin area, high schools were playing 9-man football. And I said, what if I took 9-man football and introduced it to the South? Not only introduce it to the South, what if I made it a developmental league? How could I help these players that didn't go to college get film to get to the next level? So I started comparing my options. I said, okay, what if we took a platform similar to the Spring League and did it for arena and indoor football? So the whole concept behind the NLFA is almost to try to help guys transition from 11-man to 8-man and get them, try to get them acclimated to playing arena or in professional indoor football. And this is where we are now.
I definitely like it. I mean, I like on the website how you have. Yeah, and I like the way that you have the fan control league. How the guys can get the video going, stuff like that.
Right. So everything we do at this point is all developmental.
Yeah. Perfect. Now, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Justin.
Oh yeah, no worries.
Yeah,
Coach. I mean,
all right.
It's all good. Yeah, we've totally we appreciate what you've done with the league and everything. And it's gonna be. How long have you guys been around? Is this the second year that you guys have been around?
Well, actually, this is our third season, but technically it's our first official season because of post-COVID. So we initially wanted to begin in 2020. Of course, COVID happened. So we ended up doing a demo season in 2020. We took the idea, and by the way, all the teams that are in this league is owned by the NLFA. We kind of did the same format that the AAF did. So given that that COVID-19 was around, we took some other teams and allowed them to participate in the league that weren't, owned by the league. So we did a demo season in 2020. Then we continued on into 2021, along with the non-league teams. So the first championship was won by a team that's no longer, they went back to doing what they were doing. So again, this third season is almost like our first season with all, NLFA properties.
Awesome.
Well, Coach Spoon, listen, I appreciate what you do. Just away from football, just what you do for the community, for these kids, for these guys. I appreciate it. I used to coach football kids back in the day. I truly appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely want to have you back on the set again. Maybe around the playoff time. I wish you all the luck in the world against the Roughnecks. I know it's going to be tough, but I want to see you and the Lumberjacks crash heads one more time at the end of the season. So I do want to say have a goodbye to you. I'm sure the fella's going to say goodbye. We are going to analyze your game next week. So I appreciate you coming on the set today. Right now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a commercial break. And I thank you once again, Coach Witherspoon, so we get some time to analyze the next game.
Hey, Coach, it's Commissioner Cooper from TSS Fantasy. We are the fantasy show of the people. That means we give the people what they want. Expert fantasy advice, leading medical and legal analysis, free contests, and innovative games to keep you entertained. Watch us live with the Tiki Live app on the Belly Up Sports channel, subscribe to us on YouTube, or follow us on all social media platforms. Visit TSSFantasy.com today for all the latest updates from the fantasy show of the people. We put the fun in fantasy.
Yeah!
Said the
mayo over sour cream, yeah.
Right. That's because you have high cholesterol. Okay. If you drafted Julio Jones,
you got ghosted.
This is amazing. TSS Fantasy is like an orgasm. If I had a cigarette, I'd smoke it. I'm pumped to be here. This is the show of shows.
TSS Fantasy, the fantasy show of the people.
Well, hello, welcome back. All right, guys. So now we appreciate Coach once again. Like I said, we're gonna do a quick analyzation of next week's game. Big game between us, the Bombers and Roughnecks. Speak on it, Justin. Let's go.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be it's gonna be an awesome game. They tore it up the first time. It's gonna be a revenge game for the Roughnecks, and the Bombers are gonna look to get back into it. Bombers were a highly touted offense the first time around, and they kicked it in on defense, and Roughnecks were a highly touted defense that didn't really kick it up on offense for that game. So it's gonna be a very interesting game to see what. I'm really interested to see where the Bombers are coming from at this point. Like Coach said, they've missed 2 weeks, due to the forfeiture. So where's their mindset? How are they going to bounce back?
Nick?
My biggest takeaway for the preview is going to be this. In all the games, the Roughnecks, they average 9 points a game, and the Bombers average 17. So that just tells you right there who's got the more high-powered offense, who's going to be able to finesse the ball down the field and put the ball in the end zone. So I'm going to go with the Bombers on this one. 17 always beats 9. That's just called math.
And Justin, who did you go with?
I'm going to go with the Bombers as well.
I think we're going to make it a clean sweep. I'm going to go with the Bombers as well. I think that was a hiccup when they played the Lumberjacks. I want to see the Bombers win. I want to see the top 2 teams. Not to say that about the Roughnecks, but I want to see what I perceive to be the top 2 teams play each other, crack heads, and get and make it to the playoffs and play for the championship. That's what I want to see. Other than that, guys, you have any words, parting words before we end the show?
It's the draft, guys. It's awesome. We're getting ready for we're getting ready to load up on season 2 of TSS. As always, check us out. We've already played the underdog thing. Check us out there. Get your promo code TSS for underdog. And I mean, just exciting stuff is coming for us. I know, everybody here is pretty excited about doing things like going to the expo, and, we're going to have our own little event there as well. So, everybody kind of get excited. Fantasy football, NLFA, everything is kind of just falling into place, and I'm loving it. I'm loving every second of it.
Nick?
Yes, what he said.
All right. Well, guys, listen. NLFA family, thank you for watching again. We appreciate you. I love watching this football league. I love what Coach Witherspoon's about. I can't wait for the playoffs, and I'll be a constant watcher season after season as long as they'll have us. So thank you once again, NLFA. We appreciate you. Good night.